Welcome to Supply Chain Management. This is part 2 of module 1. In this part we will discuss about economics that has improved because of the supply chain management, why SCM is important, and various decision phases that we take in SCM. This PPT has been prepared exclusively for the purpose of education by referring many videos, many internet sources, and not for any financial gains. Role of supply chain management and managing the economics. This particular topic helps us to understand how SCM has helped an organization to improve its economics or improve its financial status. The objective of every supply chain should be to maximize the overall value generated. Normally, the value of any organization is measured in terms of money that it earns, the total revenue that it earns over a period of time. So, the supply chain management should see that the revenue of any organization has improved after implementation of supply chain management. Let us see few examples. See, for example, the value of a supply chain generates is the difference between what the value of the final product is to the customer and the cost of the supply chain incurred in filling the customer's requirement. What is that value addition or value gain? Normally, we spend X on SCM and we get Y, and the difference between X and Y is the value that yes, supply chain has generated for the organization. If X is more than Y, that the amount that I have spent is more than what I have gained in satisfying the requirements of the customer. I call it as an effort that has not yielded the value. If the amount that I have spent has given me much more return than what I have spent, then the yield is more. That is what the supply chain should ensure any organization. That will encourage the organization to go for supply chain management. So supply chain surplus can be given as customer value minus supply chain cost. What is that customer value? Customer value is what the customer sees in a product. For example, see, he goes to a retail shop in search of a particular product belonging to a particular brand, and if he gets that, he is satisfied. And if he gets that, in addition to that, he also gets one more thing which he never thought of, then he is delighted. So that is what matters. See, for example, he goes to purchase a laptop. Along with the laptop, he also gets a sound system. He never expected the retail shop which deals with the PCs will also have a sound system, and if he gets the sound system along with the laptop, he is delighted, right? So this is what the supply chain surplus means, customer value means. Customer will value something, and if he's delighted about that, then whatever the effort that I have put, whatever the amount that I have spent in supply chain will definitely be very less when compared to the gain that the organization gets. There is a close connection between the design and the management of supply chain flows, that is product information and funds, and the success of a supply chain. How I plan the supply chain, how I design it, how I manage the entire supply chain flow, that is what matters about the success of the supply chain. Best examples of companies that have built their success on superior design, planning, and operation of their supply chain are uh, Amazon, Flipkart, Alibaba, Walmart, 7-Eleven in Japan. Alibaba has run into lot many difficulties, and it has to pay very heavy fine because of the government policies in China. Otherwise, Alibaba had a wonderful supply chain network. So it was very successful, and people used to prefer Alibaba. And personally, I have seen whatever the amount that was there in Amazon, the same product I could get it at a lower price at Alibaba. That was there, but now Alibaba has run into trouble. Okay, because not because of the supply chain failure, but because of non-compliance with the government policies. Also, failure of many online businesses such as Webvan, bookstore borders can be attributed to the weaknesses in their supply chain design and planning. Many times it so happens the improper planning, improper management, and improper implementation of the supply chain will also lead to big failure. I will explain the case of Webvan in my coming slides. How it started, and how quickly it rose to a very high level, and from there it fell like it tumbled, and it could never stand up again. The inability of the business to adapt to the changing environment and customer expectations, and the implementation of the same in the supply chain led to the failure of these businesses. Why Webfan failed is a classic example. If you just go to Google and just type failures, grocery failures, or online store failures, the first name that appears is Webvan. What is that Webvan? Let me take up the example of it's a California based company. It was started in 2001. In fact, they started the online business, to be clear. Till then, of course, large stores were there. Walmart was owning the large store business, and Walmart was a household name. Even today, Walmart is a household name in US. Tesco is a household name in UK. Okay, like Big Bazaar, what we have in India. Uh, Webvan, it started as an online store. They started in 2001 telling that why do you need to come to stores? Why do you need to go to Walmart? Why do you need to go to some retail shops? We will get the items to you. We will get it to your doorstep. That was the way in which they started their advertisement. People were really delighted. Why should I go miles together for few items? If the same item can be obtained to my doorstep without any delay in the delivery, they were all delighted. And it started in California, and within no time it became very popular. It became so popular that they started expanding the business by going for IPO, and the initial purchase offerings, it fetched $800 million. It was an unprecedented amount at that point of time in 2001 2002. People were shocked. Where is this company going? What is that happening? And believe it or not, they built a 5 mile conveyor belt system in order to transport the items from one area to another area. They had built a 5 mile long conveyor system, and no one even had thought this is practically possible. But Webvan did that. But what led it to its failure? It had major warehouses at major cities, and it started expanding uh, from one city to another city. The expansion was so enormous and so fast, it was very quickly being done. Probably that was one of the reason why it failed. The supply chain design could not compete with the traditional supermarket supply chain in terms of cost. The main problem was the cost. Supermarket supply chains uh, had a very competitive price, whereas this web van could not compete with that price, mainly because they overspent on transportation. Just imagine, was it really necessary for them to build a 5 mile conveyor system to transport the goods? Was it really necessary? They spent like that, and they went on expanding the business without really testing whether it will be 100% successful in one city. They did not do that. Another reason why it failed is that traditional supermarket chains bring product to a supermarket close to the consumer using full truckloads, resulting in very low transportation cost. But Webvan could not do that. It could not wait for the truck to be filled, because people are waiting. When if it is 10% complete, 25% complete, 50% complete, it had to be delivered by the time of delivery, at the right time and right place. And that's why they thought truck is a loss for them. Running 10% filled truck is a loss for them. That's why they try to build, overcome that particular problem by building conveyor. But even then, the investment was too high. They turn inventory relatively quickly and let the customer perform most of the picking activity in the store, the supermarkets. Whereas these people, they are trying to save people from doing work. That was the promise, of course. That was the tagline. It's how they started working. But it did not work out for them. In contrast, the inventory turnover was very less, and it incurred much higher transportation costs to home delivery and high labor costs to pick customer orders. And information technology was there, of course. Information technology was there. They tried to use that. They again invested heavily on that. And as a result, the company that folded in 2001, within 2 years, rose to a very high level, attracting $800 million of IPO. But in next 2 years, it tumbled. This is how a good company with high aspirations, without much planning and design, can meet the disaster. So everything was good. Even now Amazon is running online business. Flipkart is running online business. Snapdeal, you name anything, many are there. Big Basket, it is doing. And there are even small companies are doing that. Even I can book online to the industry directly. For example, many garment factories at Tirupur in Tamil Nadu, they have facilitated that kind of facility. You can book directly with the company and they will send it via courier. So this is how online business is being run. It's a successful story now. But Webvan, even though it started, even though it rose to a very high level, because of poor planning, poor design of the SCM, poor implementation of the supply chain, without anticipation of what may happen in future, it failed, it stumbled. That's what a supply chain management should do. Whenever I am designing a supply chain, I need to be very careful that I should not be carried away with what I am getting today. Dell Computer is another example that had to revise its computer supply chain design in response to changing technology and computer needs. Earlier, Dell had its stores everywhere. It was doing its retail business as well. But of late, by 2015, they realized they are not good in managing their supply chain. They were not able to meet the customer orders on time, and due to which they felt that they are losing the business. And later they realized what they are good at. They understood that they are very good at technology, and they started, let us concentrate on technology, and they outsourced this distribution and retailing business to our own Indian company HCL. Okay, HCL story, once again I will tell you at a later stage. Walmart has become the leader using the supply chain design, planning and operation to achieve success. Walmart studied the web-van model. They studied web-van model, and studied the flaws there, studied the lacunae there, where they went wrong, and they acted upon those wrongdoings, and they succeeded in achieving what they are today. From its beginning, the company invested heavily on transportation, information, infrastructure to facilitate the effective flow of goods and information. They went stage by stage. They did not go with a very big bang. They went stage by stage. That's why it's successful. Design supply chain with the clusters of stores around distribution centers to facilitate frequent replenishment at its retail stores at a cost effective manner. They had their own small clusters around the distribution centers that helped them to replenish or send the items to its retail stores at a very cost effective manner. The transportation cost was reduced, it was shortened in fact, because more you travel, the chances of delay is more, it's very high. That's why they reduced that by shortening the transportation time. Frequent replenishment saw that the retail stores never dry run, they never run dry. They are never out of stock of any item. Uh, that's how it became the leader of online business. In 2020 report, we could see that its annual income is about $523 billion. In 2013, it was just about $17 billion. Look at the increase. Look at the increase. How they could manage to this extent. Similarly, let me come to take up the example of HCL. I was telling you what happened with Dell. Dell realized it could not cope up with the supply chain of distribution. That's why they shifted that distribution to HCL. At the same time, till 2013, HCL was manufacturing computer. In fact, that was the only Indian company that was manufacturing laptops and desktops. Now we don't have any company in by two, but HCL realized they are not good at technology. They are good at supply chain, logistics, distribution, marketing, service. They realized that, and they took up the supply chain servicing business from Dell. Dell gave that to HCL, and as a result, HCL registered 33,193 crores of annual income in 2020 as against 14,403 crores in 2016, almost three times more, or two and a half times more. This is what SCM means. You need to do what you are the best. Don't think that you can do everything. If you are good in technology, continue with technology. If you are good in service, continue with service. If you are good in logistics, go with logistics. If you are good in transportation, do transportation. That is what every organization need to realize. And many examples I can quote. Even 7-Eleven in Japan, it has also a wonderful replenishment system and information technology, and it even helped, it adopted marketizing mix, giving variety of products to the customers, precisely to match the customer demand, and whatever they want they started giving them. As a result, it rose from 617 billion yen in 2012 to 887 billion yen in 2019. So this is another success story of a proper management of supply chain. So supply chain management doesn't include just the implementation. It starts from the design, it starts from planning, proper design, proper implementation, proper management. It comprises of everything. Key aspects of supply chain design, planning and operation decisions play a significant role in the success or failure of a firm. To conclude about this, how economics can improve, how financial status of a company can improve because of supply chain management, whether it's a success or a failure, I have told you both the sides. I gave you the example of great failure as well as great successes. Now you need to understand, any success for a proper supply chain management depends exclusively on design, planning and operation decisions. To stay in competition, supply chains must adapt to changing technology and customer expectations. Customers are the kings. If you do not meet the expectations of the customers, if you do not exceed the expectations of the customer, you cannot sustain the present level of competition. Innumerable competitors are waiting in queue. That's what we need to understand. If we falter once, we are out of the competition. Nokia, at one point of time, they were the emperors in mobile business, but where is Nokia now? Kodak, of course, they are the pioneers. Kodak invented camera. Where is Kodak now? Innumerable examples I can tell. Unless or otherwise we adapt to the changing technology and exceed the customers' expectations, we cannot stay in the business. Let us discuss about the importance of supply chain. Why supply chain is important? Till now we discussed about how it will be useful for an organization. In this slide we will discuss about why supply chain is important. Firms do not manage their supply chain, will incur huge inventory costs and eventually end up losing lot of customers because right products cannot be supplied to them at right point of time and right place. I have told you in the earlier classes also that any marketing management will always go with 4 P's: product, price, place and promotion. You need to produce, or you need to supply the customer right product at the right place at the right time with proper promotion. If you do not meet these things, we will lose the customer. So managing the inventory is very very critical, and that's why many companies have outsourced this supply chain business to some other company, because they know that they have the technology. They realize that it's better for them to concentrate more on the technology rather than on the logistics and the distribution. There are many people who are good in logistics and distribution. Let them do that job. Let us do our job. This is what the companies need to understand. The following are five major trends that have emerged to make supply chain management a critical success factor in most of the industries. The first one is proliferation of in product lines. Second one is shorter product life cycles, higher level of outsourcing, shift in power structure in the chain, and the last one is the globalization of manufacturing. See, these are the five reasons or the critical success factors why every company need to have a proper supply chain. Let us discuss one by one in detail. First one, proliferation in product line. What does that mean? Companies have realized that more and more product varieties needed to satisfy the growing range of customer tastes and requirement. Let me take the example of automobile. See, earlier we used to have Maruti 800 till 1990s over, and then came the globalization era. Hyundai came to India, Toyota came to India. How long they had the models? For example, see Hyundai Santro. It was there for almost 6 7 years. Toyota Qualis. It was there for 3 to 4 years. But now, what is the status? Every 6 months, they keep on changing the model. Not only model, but look at the variety of each model. Colors, multiple colors, features, multiple features. In every model, every type of the car, there will be 4 to 5 different types. For example, in Maruti we have LXI, VXI, ZXI, auto gear, under auto geared again, so many other things. Look at the colors. At one point of time, if you go back to earlier era, 70s, 80s, 90s, only two colors, cream or white, what we say, and the another one is black. That's all. Cream, decent persons; black, underground people. That was the kind of mindset people had. But look at the colors now. Variety of colors. You pay them 25,000 extra and you will get the color of your liking. That is the status now. So that is the meaning of proliferation in product lines. So unless or otherwise you meet the customer's expectations with proper supply chain, you are out of the business. Shorter product life cycles. With increasing competition, product life cycles across the industries are becoming shorter. For example, say Apple, it has an on average just 5 days of inventory as compared to industry norm of 35 days. Toyota, it has just 3 days of inventory. Within 3 days, that product will be sold in the market. That is how you need to see the product being sold in the market. You cannot dump them in your yard for months together. It's a disaster. Third reason why SCM is very very important is higher level of outsourcing. Earlier, everyone used to manufacture everything. For example, Rolls-Royce, Ford, they were all doing almost every job, starting from tire to window panes to seats, doors, everything. But that's not the case now. Any OEMs, original equipment manufacturers, they hardly produce any subparts. They do not manufacture any parts at all. For example, see, let it be Dell. Do you think they will be manufacturing all the parts that are there in the laptop or the desktop? They get the panel from one company A, they get the chips from another company, they get the PCBs from the another company, they get the keyboard from another company, they get the camera from another company. What they do? They just assemble them at one place. Even assembly also will be done by someone else. They would have outsourced it to some other company. What do? They just put that Dell brand and then outsourced. Even the retail, it is outsourced. Dell is not at all there, but the brand name is sold. What is sold by Dell? Brand name. Who has manufactured that laptop? Someone X. Who has assembled it? Someone Y. But who is getting all the benefit? Dell. This is the reality nowadays. So higher level of outsourcing, for example, Arvind Mills in India and Gokuldas Images, Raymonds, what are they doing? They are all manufacturing the garments that are sold in America. Arvind will manufacture this Lee jeans, Arrow jeans, and all those jeans pants or trousers, shirts, jackets, they're all manufactured in India. What do? They just put the label, sell it. That's all. So this is how the businesses are done. Outsourcing is at a very high level. So that is another reason why SCM is very, very critical. Shift in power structure in the chain. There is a clear shift in the power structure. Retailers have become very, very important. Earlier, retailers were not important. From manufacturer to customer. That's all. But now, suppliers, retailers, they both of them are equal important aspects of the entire chain. So that is the another shift. The last point is globalization of manufacturing. See, many companies are restructuring their production facilities to be at par with global standards. Earlier, they were manufacturing in one country, but that's not the case now. They go with multiple centers, multiple plants in multiple countries. For example, Raymond's garments, it is in Bangalore, it is in Pune, it is in Noida, it is in Ethiopia, it is in Norway, it is in Australia. Everywhere they have their plants, not just the retail showrooms, they have plants there. Because those countries are offering a bunch of facilities that will encourage any manufacturer to open their plants in those countries instead of manufacturing it in India and supplying it to that far off countries. You better open a plant there itself. That is what Bharti Airtel has done. Bharti Airtel has outsourced everything. It's just everywhere it is Bharti Airtel, but if you go to whether the servicing, it is done by, it is outsourced. Software, it is outsourced. Towers, outsourced. Everything is outsourced, but everything is under the name of Bharti Airtel. Now, if I want to, if something goes wrong with the tower, people will call me, of course. I just maintain the call, even call center, it is outsourced. I need not have to maintain the call center also. I will just come to know that there is a problem. Now what do? I just call the person who is responsible for that problem in the network or the tower. He will repair that. I need not have to repair that. But managing the entire supply chain is my business. That is what has happened now. Whether it is because of the globalization, because of the increased outsourcing, because of shift in power structure, because of the proliferation, all these have become critical success factors for supply chain management. There are three decision phases for supply chain management. If you want the supply chain to be SCM to be successful, uh, a proper decision has to be taken. A wrong decision may result in a disaster. One example I've already said about web. Okay, so if you do not manage your supply chain properly, what will happen if your decisions are wrong? What will happen? I've already said. Kodak decision wrong, it failed. Ambassador car, Hindustan Motor, at one point of time, pride of India, it failed. So successful supply chain management requires proper decision to the flow of information, product and funds. If information is not properly managed, failure. Products do not flow properly, failure. Funds do not flow properly, failure. So the information has to be disseminated at the right time, right place, to the right person. Products must be delivered at the right place, at the right time. Funds must be released without any delay, so that information and product are they reach the customers just in time. Each decision should be made to raise the supply chain surplus. I have already given you the example. What is supply chain surplus? The value to the customer should be more than what I invest. I have invested X on the supply chain. I should get X plus with added value. That is termed as value chain surplus. These decisions fall into three categories. Okay, and depending on the frequency of each decision, the time frame during which a decision phase has some impact. Let us see which are those. First one is the supply chain strategy or the design. Next one is supply chain planning, and the last one is supply chain operation. Sometimes some people categorize them into two categories, say supply chain design and supply chain operation. They include the supply chain planning within this supply chain operation, but I prefer to put it under three headings as supply chain design, planning and operation. Let us discuss each one of them in detail. First, on supply chain strategy or design. During this phase, the company decides how to structure the supply chain over the next several years. It's a long term plan. It's a strategy. Strategy means it's a long term decisions. That's what you need to understand. Tactics and strategy. Strategy is always long term. Tactics are always short term. In order to meet that strategy, I will adapt some of the tactics. So whenever I talk of strategy, it's always long term. 10 years from now, 20 years from now, where should my organization go? That's what I have to think of. It decides what the chain's configuration will be, how resources will be allocated, and what processes each stage will perform over a long period of time, not in the short context. Strategic decisions made by companies include whether to outsource or perform a supply chain function in house, whether make or buy. That's what we normally term it as make or buy decision. Should I outsource my supply chain business, or should I manage by myself itself? The location and capabilities, or I mean to say capacities of production and warehousing facilities. Where should I locate? Should I locate more number of warehouses with smaller capacities, or should I go for large warehouses with uh, uh, minimum number of warehouses with large capacity? I can say like that. More number of warehouses with smaller capacities, or lesser number of warehouses with larger capacities. That is another trade off. The third trade off is products to be manufactured or stored at various locations. Should I keep on manufacturing as and when the order comes, or should I manufacture in advance and store them in the warehouses? That is another decision I have to make. The modes of transportation to be made available along different shipping legs. Which type of transportation is better? Is it road transportation, air, or train? Ro-ro rail, it's a wonderful example. Let me quote that example here, because Ro-ro rail facility that was started by Konkan Railway, now it is being run by the entire railway department. Both the transportation companies as well as the railway department, they are getting the benefit out of that, because these trucks will be loaded onto the train. They will be loaded onto the chassis of the train, and the the trains will carry these trucks to the nearest location. See, for example, I have manufactured something in say Chennai, and I have to transport it to Noida. How long it will take? What would be the expenses? And it will take at least 4 to 5 days for me to reach Noida. What is the expenditure on diesel? Each truck has to move, whereas a Ro-Ro rail will start from Chennai and go to Noida non-stop. It just keeps on moving by carrying all the trucks that are to be downloaded at Noida. And now the transportation company has gained the advantage of avoiding the transportation. Their transportation cost has come down drastically. More than 50% savings they have tasted. Railways are also getting the business. This is the mutual win-win situation. The type of information system to be used, what type of information I have to use. Information technology is growing. Let me make use of that. Why should I unnecessarily make the human beings move? Let the information flow. That is the another strategic decisions I have to make. They are not tactics, they are strategic decisions, long term decisions, very critical decisions. A firm must ensure that the supply chain configuration supports its strategic objectives and increases the supply chain surplus during this phase. That is the major intention of supply chain strategy or design. Supply chain surplus should increase. That is the major objective. Continuing, the supply chain design decisions are typically made for a long term, that I have already explained, and are expensive to alter or on shorter notice. That's what. And you are not supposed to, unless or otherwise it is very much necessary. See, for example, the pandemic situation. I have to alter my decision. I have to alter. I cannot keep on saying, let me wait, let me wait. No. The situation is very grim and I have to alter my decision. If I had planned for some product X and if it is not going to yield me any profit, scrap it, go for product Y. Best example I can quote you is Tata Nano. Tata Nano was a dream project of Ratan Tata, and in fact that is why Cyrus Mistry was removed from the post of CEO, because Cyrus Mistry wanted to scrap Tata Nano. Ratan Tata did not want to, but ultimately Ratan Tata had to accept the reality. He scrapped Tata Nano plant, and it is manufacturing wonderful cars from Tata, like Nexon. Nexon is the number one selling model of Tata. Tiago, Tigor, they're all wonderful models, and that is the best example I can quote you. Consequently, when companies make these decisions, they must take into account uncertainty in anticipated market conditions. Uncertainty is certain. Anything that is certain in business is uncertainty. That's what you need to understand. It is important for companies to continually revisit their supply chain strategies and make necessary corrections to realign themselves with the changing condition. We need to align ourselves with the direction of the wind. If we do not align ourselves, then it will be very difficult. Okay, but that doesn't say that I should keep on changing my direction. That will also may not help me. It may not help me reach my goal. But I have to be very careful over there. What should be the compromise? It is important in cases where adoption of IT tools and emergence of e-commerce are impacting the traditional supply chains. E-commerce has grown like anything, especially during this pandemic. People are weary of going and purchasing products from market. If anything, if anybody supplies to their doorstep, they are very happy to get that. Quality wise, they are ready to compromise, because for them life is more important for them. Jaan hai to jahan hai, that is the watchword given by our prime minister. And people need to realize that uh, we need to survive first. Okay, and e-commerce has gained lots of importance over there. Okay, and networking of hospitals, networking of hotels. Look at Swiggy, look at Zomato. What are they doing? Do they own any restaurants? No. Do they own any vehicles? No. They just manage the entire supply chain, that's all. They do not even own the logistics, they do not have a warehouse. They just ask the delivery boys to deliver from source to destination. That's all. They are earning crores of rupees, especially during this pandemic. Restaurants you cannot go, but parcels are allowed. Zomato, Swiggy, they did a wonderful thing. Uber Eats. Uber, they were doing the transportation business. Anyway, I am moving. Let me start Uber Eat. They started. Second decision phase is the supply chain planning. Supply chain configuration determined in the strategic or design phase is fixed. Long term, you are not supposed to change unless or otherwise it is highly demanding. Otherwise, stick on to your long term goals, whatever we have set. Whereas supply chain planning, it's about short term things. This configuration establish constraints within which planning must be done. The goal of planning is to maximize the supply chain supplies that can be generated over a planning horizon, given the constraint established during the strategic design or strategic design phase. See, for example, I have set some goals and I need to execute or I need to start working towards achieving those goals. What should I do next? Plan. Have a concrete plan. What is that you are going to do in order to achieve that goal? Are you going to reach your goal with this plan? That is very, very critical. The companies that start the planning phase with a forecast for the coming year, look at this span now, that was long term, whereas here short term, the duration reduced 1 year. In the next year, what is that I am going to do? What are the factors that are going to affect, like costs, prices, customer demands, customer requirements, customers dwindling mindset. Fickle customers are highly fickle minded. You just can't imagine, you just can't take customers for granted. So every year they keep on changing their expectations, they keep on changing their requirements. That is what supply chain planning. Planning includes making decisions regarding which markets will be supplied from which locations, the subcontracting of manufacturing, the inventory policies to be followed, and the timing and size of the marketing and marketing price and promotions. So they're all short term now. Whatever we used to do during the strategy phase in the long term, in during planning stage, I do it for a short term. Whether it could be subcontracting, it could be warehousing, or it could be anything. In the planning phase, companies must include uncertainty in demand, exchange rates, and competition over its time horizon in their decision. Uncertainty in demand, quite obvious, and exchange rates, the government policies, exim policies, they keep on changing. See, for example, all of a sudden they stopped the export of remdesivir vaccine, those tablets and injection. And it's an unprecedented thing. And if the onion prices increase, they immediately stop the export of onions, because in order to meet the domestic demand, domestic market demand. So exchange, because of that the exchange rates will vary, and rupee rate may tumble today, it may increase tomorrow. If something happens with the Gulf countries, if something happens in the oil production, our rupee value will start shaking against the dollars. That is another point. Companies in the planning phase try to incorporate flexibility built into the supply chain in the design phase and exploit it to optimize the performance. Whatever the flexibility they had built during design phase, they try to exploit during planning phase. Some flexibility must be there. You cannot have a rigid strategy, you cannot have a rigid plan. That will definitely lead to disaster. We need to have a flexible plan. That's what I said. Look at the direction of the wind. If it is really conducive, if it is really necessary, go with the wind. And that is smart work. The third decision that is pending is supply chain operation. That is, operation means at the lower most level. That is strategy or design, very long term planning, shorter, yearly, and the operation weekly or daily. What is it I am going to do? That is operation. What actually I am doing is operation. What is my ultimate goal? Design or strategy. What are my tactics? Planning. What is it I am actually doing? Operation. This is the three levels in any decision. Okay. During this phase, the companies make decisions regarding individual customer orders. Okay, and I have got an order. My immediate job is to meet those orders. He has given me 1 week's time. Let me complete that within a week. That is what is expected. I cannot think that will it really help me in the long run. I have this goal, whether it is possible or not. I'm not supposed to think. I have to do business. I need to stay in the business. Let me do. Okay, and I have to take very quick decisions. I cannot keep on postponing. At the operation level, supply chain configuration is considered fixed and planning policies are already defined. Okay, and I have a defined plan, and accordingly I will be doing this operation. Normally, I cannot change my operation decisions. The goal of supply chain operation is to handle incoming customer orders in the best possible manner. So, I have got an order, let me complete the order. That is how I meet the customer's demand. During this phase, firms allocate inventory or production to individual orders, set a date by which the order has to be filled, generate pick lists at the warehouse, allocate an order to the particular shipping mode, shipment, set delivery schedule of trucks, and place replenishment orders. Look at the duration. Look at each and every word here. Every word that has been told here, whether it is allocate inventory, production orders, or the generate pick list from the warehouse, shipping mode, delivery schedule, they're all short duration that has to be executed within a day or within a week. That is supply chain operation. Because of operational decisions are being made in the short term, minutes, hours, or days, there is less uncertainty about the demand information. It's certain, there is no scope for uncertainty. A person who has ordered today normally will not change the order within the next minute. Normally, that doesn't happen unless or otherwise he meets with unprecedented situation. Many a times it so happens over a month's time it may change. A company may anticipate some particular raw material to be arrived to its place, and that's why what they do, they ask for another, they outsource some of the businesses to a company. They expect that those spare parts are required to complete the assembly, and they are expecting some more spare parts from another source, but unfortunately second source could not supply the spare parts. but first company has already started the production. Many a times they ask them to stop and pay the compensation as per the whatever the agreement they have signed. They may have to pay for the losses that the first company has incurred. Given the constraints established by the configuration and planning policies, the goal during the operation phase is to exploit the reduction of uncertainty and optimize performance. So uncertainty is very, very less, and they have to optimize the performance. What is the optimization of the performance? Within all the constraints available, come up with the best performance, come up with the best productivity, complete the project or complete the order with the best possible time. That is meaning of optimize performance. The design, planning and operation of a supply chain have a strong impact on the overall profitability and success. This is the final conclusion. Everything will have a very strong impact on overall profitability and success. To conclude, supply chain decision phases may be categorized as design, planning or operational depending on the time frame. If it is very long, it is called design, yearly planning, daily, weekly, monthly or few days operational. Okay, and design decisions constrain or enable good planning, which in turn constrain or enables effective operation. Constraints are good because it will make you stronger, because if everything is okay, we will not be very strong. So just like our body need to have some antibodies, then only we will be immune to new diseases. Those antibodies are like constraints, and in any operation, in any manufacturing, constraints are necessary. Thank you.